Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good. So guys, I'm sorry about not doing the live streams. I wanted to do a live stream today. I've not been feeling too great. So, I wanted to take a little bit of a rest. I will definitely try to get a live stream out. I've got a few bits to do. I've got to get, a shave. I've got to get a haircut. As you can see, I'm a bit of a mess. I've just been really busy and I've not been... had a shave or not had a haircut, so I need to get all of these things sorted tomorrow. Get a few other bits done, and then hopefully in the evening we'll do a live stream. So hopefully I need to go to the doctor as well for the throat, just to see. I've been having this problem for a couple of years, not like 2 years, with the throat. I don't know what's the issue, but yeah, don't want to bore you with that. Tomorrow I'll get a couple of things done, and in the evening we'll do a live, definitely. Talking about obviously the latest news, especially with the Pacquiao-Spence stuff, which is obviously still up in the air now. I'm going to do a separate video about that because we've had some more information about it. But this video is about something I wanted to do a couple days ago, but unfortunately there was other things that popped up with the Pacquiao-Spence, the Demetrius stuff, so I didn't manage to do it. But apparently DAZN were pushing to make Gennady Golovkin. Apparently they're not happy with Gennady Golovkin's opponents. I think there's something going on in the behind the scenes in America, and they want to make Gennady Golovkin v Demetrius Andrade, which obviously is a fight that I've been calling for. I think it's a great fight. I think it's a fight that should be made because they're both champions, and we want to head towards an undisputed champion. We want to see the champions fight. We want boxing to be great again, and the champions need to fight one another in order for the sport to be great. Apparently, Golovkin was rumored to, wanting to fight Murata in December. And I don't know whether Golovkin wanted a tune-up fight before that, because obviously the fight was in December, so maybe wanted a tune-up fight. Maybe DAZN just aren't happy. They aren't happy to pay him the money or, for the opponent that he wants, because they know it's not going to move the needle. They want him to fight Andrade. Now, there are a lot of people that reported this. There's a lot of people that said this, that, Golovkin and his team are, ahead with DAZN. We don't know for sure. I would love to see Gennady Golovkin fight Demetrius Andrade. I think that would be a great fight. And to be honest with you, I don't know why Golovkin would have an issue with it. Having said that, I do see how. I think he probably looks at someone like Andrade as a risk with his style and awkwardness at this stage in his career. But to be honest with you, I know there's few fans that think that Andrade beats Golovkin easy. I don't think Andrade beats Golovkin. I think Golovkin would beat Andrade, even at this point. I just think Golovkin's all wrong. I think Golovkin's too strong. He punches too hard. He's got too good a chin. I just don't think Andrade is going to be able to keep him off. A lot of people think that Golovkin's one-dimensional. Believe you me, if Liam Williams can get to Demetrius Andrade, then Golovkin will get to Demetrius Andrade, and he's going to have a lot more power. He's a lot tougher than Liam Williams. He ain't going to get put down. And he has the kind of power that could take Andrade's lights out. So I don't see why Golovkin wouldn't want that fight, because I don't think it's like... I can see that he wants the Canelo fight, and he's looking for fights that he looks at the Murata fight as probably an easy route to a Canelo fight, because he'll be unified champion. So that will give Canelo more incentive to want to fight Golovkin, because Golovkin would have 2 belts. And if Canelo wants to come back down and become undisputed, which I don't think he'll have that interest in anyway, because I think once he becomes undisputed, he may even go up to light heavyweight. He might not even think about coming down. Remember, when you've been at a weight 168 pounds, for him to take off weight and go back down, taking off weight is not a great thing to do. We saw with Roy Jones, it didn't work out well for him. So personally, I don't think that would be a wise thing for Canelo Alvarez to do, to take off weight and then go down. I'm not sure that's the way to go. I think Canelo might move up, so I don't think Golovkin will get that shout anyway. So personally, I think Golovkin should just look to unify. I think Golovkin should just look to, because to be honest with you, I think most people would still pick Golovkin to beat all the 3 champions. Even though Golovkin's now more vulnerable, isn't the fighter he was, I think going off Charlo's and Andrade's recent performances, I think most people would still pick Golovkin to beat both. And Andrade, for me, is not even physically that demanding a fight, because Andrade's not a big puncher. He's more of a slick guy, and more of a guy that just outclasses you. But again, Golovkin, stylistically, for me, styles make fights. And I think stylistically is all wrong for Golovkin. I mean, Golovkin's all wrong for Andrade. So, personally, I personally think Golovkin should be taking that fight, you know, and then fight Murata in December. Look at what Canelo's done for all the champions. And Golovkin could do the same, to be honest with you. Because, to be honest with you, if the Murata fight's already done, he fights Andrade, becomes a unified champion, fights Murata, he's got 3 belts. He could potentially fight Charlo for all the belts. So, I personally think I would love to see that fight. But apparently DAZN are trying to push for it now. I don't know what's going to happen. Is the fight going to happen? It's a fight that I would love to see, Golovkin and Andrade, because it's a great fight. It's a great matchup between 2 great fighters. You know, Andrade is a guy that's never really been tested at that kind of level. You know, people are so frustrated with Andrade and saying this guy never fights anybody and he's not really fought anyone. Well, listen, I can see the frustration. He turned up to the Canelo press conference and he was calling Canelo out, and Canelo basically said, you ain't fought nobody. But someone's going to have to step up eventually. Someone's going to have to step up and fight Andrade. Someone will step up because, like I said, Andrade, he's a champion. So, like I said, he shouldn't have to go calling these guys out. He's a champion. He should get these fights. So I do think that there's a great chance that Andrade will get a big fight with Golovkin or Canelo eventually. He may have to bide his time a little bit. I don't know why Golovkin wouldn't want to fight him, to be honest. I really hope that Golovkin does take the fight so we can get a fight and a unified champion, because at middleweight we've got 4 belts right now. We've got Murata, we got Golovkin, we got Charlo, and we got Andrade. So we've got 4 champions right now which really need to fight each other, and we need to see who the best is. And I've always been an advocate of guys fighting each other, champions fighting each other, so we're getting to know who the champion. Like light welterweight, for example, we got Josh Taylor, who's a basically undisputed champion, and that's what I want across all the weight classes. So these guys should start fighting each other, and hopefully we start seeing more undisputed champions and more. I think there's a greater chance in divisions that are not commercially that big names, because when you've got big names, there's egos involved, there's promoters, big fights, big money involved. It's a lot harder to make the fights. When you got guys like the light welterweight division who are unknown, Josh Taylor, Ramirez, these were unknown guys, so that their best way for their name to get out there was to fight each other and create great fights and big events, because they weren't going to make a name for themselves any other way unless they were going to fight a Broner or someone like that already has a name. So their best way for them to get out there, like Josh Taylor, like look at the press that he's got now. Look at he's built a name. Like, I'm still not a huge star or anything, but he's built a slight name because he's fought the best and he's become undisputed. So he's gained that respect and gained, you know, that reputation because he fought the guys in his division, beat everyone. Now he holds all the belts. So it was a smart thing, but it was done because he didn't have much of a name. So it was easy to make those fights and there was no egos. It was easy to put those guys together. But when there's big guys and big names and guys where there's big money on the table, they're not so willing to fight each other, because then people start talking about splits. You know, what broadcaster is it going to be on? All of those things matter. Whereas I think even if, for example, Josh Taylor was with DAZN, I still think the fight would have been made, because I just feel like because they're not that big a name, someone would have said, oh, go and fight on ESPN, or ESPN might have said, go fight on DAZN, you know, because they're not, like I said, there's not as much egos involved when the reputation names, and they're not that big stars. I think when they're bigger stars, like we get in the welterweight division, it's going to be a lot harder because those guys are bigger names. There's bigger money there's more money on the line, you know, so it's a lot harder for us to get undisputed in weight divisions like that, unless like it's someone like Canelo, for example, who's a big star that wants to be undisputed, but the other guys that haven't got the name and reputation, they all want to fight him, so it's easy for him to make the fights. But even that, sometimes, like look at this Canelo Caleb Plant situation, who knows what's going to happen there? Is that fight going to happen? You know, so even there, sometimes it's not easy to make because, you know, the B side has their demands, they want stuff, and in boxing today, it's not always easy to make fights. So that's why there's not a lot of undisputed champions. And I do think of recent being undisputed has become a big thing. I don't think 10, 12 years ago it was that big a thing as well. Otherwise, we would have seen more because it wasn't that big a thing. I remember 10 years ago, nobody was thinking about being undisputed. It was just about fighting the best guys, fighting all the best guys in your division. No, I don't really think anybody really thought, I want to get all the belts. Like it was a serious ambition. Whereas I think for Taylor and the recent generation coming up, I think it's become kind of like an ambition to get all the belts. And that's a good way because that means the best are fighting the best. The champions are fighting the champions in order to unify and become an undisputed champion. So that's great. So hopefully with this Golovkin Andrade situation, we can get them to fight each other because really that's what we want. Let's be honest. We want to see the best fight the best. And I want to see Golovkin. So even if DAZN are pushing for that fight, I have no problem with that because I like that fight. I think it's a great fight. I think for me, it's a fight which I still feel. I know Golovkin's 39. I still feel he wins. So this is why I want to see that fight. This is why I want to see Golovkin Andrade because I think it's still a mega matchup. I think obviously we get a unified champion in the division, and then there's a consensus that forms around that champion because he's got 2 of the belts now. So then it's for Charlo and Muratov to prove that he's not the best. Do you see what I mean? Especially if Golovkin was to win, because Golovkin's career at middleweight is already stellar. So if he was to beat an Andrade, the consensus forms around him. Or if Andrade was to beat someone like Golovkin, as decorated as Andrade, a consensus formed around him. So I really hope that this fight can happen. I'm not sure it will. Let's see what happens. Golovkin isn't one to take a step back. So if DAZN do force the issue, maybe he'll say, okay, I'll fight Andrade. You know, who knows? But let's see what happens with that situation. I hope the fight does happen between Golovkin and Andrade. But what I will say, I want to talk, staying on DAZN, Eddie Hearn announced his DAZN UK commentary team, his host of talent, so to speak. And there's been a lot of negative and some positive responses about the commentary team that he's picked here in the UK. And being a guy that lives in the UK that's going to obviously has DAZN, what do I make of some of the people that have been picked? To be honest, I haven't got a problem with it. And I've seen a lot of people react negatively to it, especially with, there was this TV presenter, Maya Jama, who was picked. And to be honest with you, I've seen her present a few times. And I've seen her, she does football. She's currently doing the Euros. And she's been on other TV, presented other TV programs before as well, other shows as well. But I think she's really good. I think she's very energetic. I think she's a celebrity. Most important, she's very famous. She's famous. People know who she is, and I think she brings an audience herself. So it's very smart by DAZN because they're not just getting a presenter in, because there's many presenters, but they're not that famous. She's famous. She's a celebrity in her own right. So this is very smart. A smart move by DAZN. I don't have a problem with it. And like I said, she doesn't have to know a whole deal of boxing. Listen, any presenter that presents a show, even if they don't know about, the sport, or they don't have that much knowledge, they'll do their preparation. She'll do her preparation. She'll get to know about the sport. She'll do her preparation prior. There's many people that, report on her sport that they don't even know, but they'll do their preparation prior and they'll know what they need to know. And she'll do the same. She's a really good presenter. I don't see why people are complaining about her just because she's not boxing orientated. Who cares? She's really good. Like, I've seen her present and I've seen the way she comes across. She's really, really good. She's very confident. She's very lively, very energetic. And I actually think people will like her. From what I've seen, I think people will like the way she presents. But again, you can't please everyone. There's always going to be people that they're going to be negative. But I don't have a problem with that. I think DAZN are doing the smart thing because they're thinking outside the box. They're getting somebody that's a presenter that's very good, right? But very famous. So they could get a presenter, a boxing presenter, but that boxing presenter is not going to move the needle. Like, she's probably going to get her audience. Remember, right? Imagine, right, if there's a show going on and then Maya Jama puts it up on social media. She's got 2 million Instagram followers. She's got like millions on Twitter. Imagine her putting it on her social media, right? That's promoting the show itself. This is what people don't understand. She's a celebrity. So she's going to bring eyes because there's going to be her young audience that watch her that are going to be tuning in. Do you see what I mean? So there's a lot to bring someone like that in. I actually think it's a great move because at the end of the day, she doesn't need to know a whole heap of boxing. She'll do her preparation prior, right? But the main thing is, can she present? And she can, because from what I've seen, she's really good. Now, there's also others, Darren Barker, who's a boxing man, you know, he's a former world champion. Tony Bellew, former world champion. Again, these are guys. Tony Bellew at times can be quite biased. Hopefully, you know, if he can put that to one side and become a bit more, you know, just a bit more neutral, even if it's one of his friends, or just be neutral, because it's quite clear when he's talking about Anthony Joshua or someone that he likes, he can be quite biased, you know, he comes across. But he knows his boxing. When he talks, he knows his boxing. But it's just that sometimes I think he just, you know, he's at times can come across biased. But in terms of his boxing knowledge, I don't have a problem with Tony Bellew. I know people wanted someone like Paulie Malignaggi, who I think is one of the best commentators out there. And that would have been, for me, that would have been great to have someone like Paulie. But who knows what's the situation with Paulie right now. Also, guys like Tony Bellew, even though I think Paulie knows a lot about the UK fighters, unlike some of the other American commentators that people want, like Max Kellerman, I don't think they know a lot about the UK fighters, only the top ones. I don't think they know a lot about the ones below. So this is why I don't think Max Kellerman and guys like that fit the bill. And he's also with the ESPN. But then you've got also guys like Andy Lee, who's brilliant. Mike Costello, who's, again, brilliant. So, to be honest with you, I actually don't think it's a bad lineup. I think it's a good lineup. It probably isn't the stellar lineup we thought, in the sense that the way Hearn was going on about it, it was like, you know, you're going to have Sugar Ray Leonard there, or you're going to have legends there, but we haven't quite got that, but they are going to add to it, you know. So I do think the lineup's pretty solid. I don't think it's what Eddie was initially saying it was, but I don't think it's as bad as what people are making it out to be. I actually think it's a solid lineup. And I actually think Laura Woods, I don't really know a lot about her. I know she presents on TalkSports, but apparently she's very good. Also, you know, and then with Maya Jama, I've seen her present. I think she's really good. And I don't think you have to be a boxing person to do what she's going to do. So, yeah, I actually think that's a great signing from DAZN. I actually think it's great because, like I said, I can see what she brings. Apart from her presenting skills, I can see what she brings in terms of an audience that follows her. Because, like I said, she's a celebrity. She has a huge fan following. You know, that will tune in to, like, there's a lot of these presenters, like famous ones like Maya Jama, for example. There's a lot of people that are just tune in just to see her, because they love the way she presents. They love the way she comes across. And I feel like that will be the same here with DAZN. So I think that's the avenue DAZN are going at. They're getting a celebrity that's a TV presenter. See, a lot of TV presenters not that famous. She's really famous. You know, so I think it's a great move by DAZN. I think it's a great move. And with the others, I think everyone's solid. I don't think there's anyone there that I'm like, oh, not got him. They got Chris Lloyd and Darren Barker, who I think work for Matchroom anyway, don't they? They did the stuff with Matchroom. I'm pretty sure they did the media. They did a Matchroom media, didn't they? Darren Barker. So now they're with DAZN. So again, they already were working for Matchroom doing the media. So you know, the way they used to analyze fights together, Barker and Chris Lloyd. I'm pretty sure it was them two. So again, I don't really have an issue with what's going on there. I think it's a solid team. It's a solid team, you know, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they fare. I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be fun, and it gives a new flavor. We're not seeing the same stuff. We're seeing new people in the industry, like Maya Jama, you know what I mean, like Laura Woods. We're seeing new faces, new people bringing different energy. You know, we don't have to, it doesn't have to be boxing. You know what, I would love to see someone like Ian Darke. What a commentator he was back in the day. He was a brilliant, just his voice, even when he does football, he's got a brilliant voice. And he knows when to, you know, the thing about commentating is like when to, you know, deepen your voice, and when to, you know, when to make it like dramatic when it's a dramatic moment, you know, to make, you know, the way these people, you know, change the tone of their voice. It's just like, it's an art, man. It's an art, you know, and Ian Darke was one of the best. He was, and even, like I said, even now in football, he's brilliant. But yeah, that's my take on it. I haven't got a problem with it, and I hope the Andrade Golovkin fight happens. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.